to the video lecture series on hydrology. This is third lecture on engineering hydrology. Last class we have seen about the calculation of average rainfall over the entire catchment, where we have seen this isoheightal method. So these are the isoheights, equal rainfall contours 75, 90, 100, 125, 140, 150, 165 and 180. So inter-isoheightal area between these two isoheights is this. So like this we know the formula to calculate the average rainfall over the basin. P average is equal to sigma P upon sigma A. This gives you what is called the average rainfall over the entire catchment basin. Now to represent this rainfall data, how do you represent? This rainfall data is represented in the form of hydrograph. So how do you present the rainfall data? Presentation of the point rainfall data. What is point rainfall data? Point rainfall means rainfall measured by using rain gauge at a particular station. It is also known as station rainfall. Point rainfall or station rainfall. It measures the rainfall at a particular station only. But to convert this station rainfall into aerial rainfall, we use the concept of depth area duration curve. Later we discuss that concepts. So hydrograph is presentation of rainfall data. So rainfall intensity versus time. Intensity of rainfall gradually changes with time. Hence we represent the intensity of rainfall versus time in the form of this bar charts. Already we have studied histogram, bar chart in your mathematics also. Also in your construction technology and management, we have seen the bar chart and gantry chart. So in a similar manner, rainfall intensity versus time is recorded in the form of hydrograph. How much intensity? See, always the intensity of rainfall will be very high in the beginning. Gradually with the passage of time what happens? Intensity of rainfall reduces. So this intensity time graph is called hydrograph and it is useful in many hydrological computations also. Next thing is mass curve. Mass curve is cumulative rainfall versus cumulative depth of rainfall. Cumulative rainfall versus time. It is a continuously rising curve like this. Continuously rising. There is no break at all. If at all there is a horizontal portion, a break or something in this, that indicates there is no rainfall during that corresponding period, that particular period. Continuous rising curve. In arithmetic questions you can get mass curve is A, continuously rising curve, continuously falling curve, parabolic curve, none of these. So mass curve is continuously rising curve. It has many applications in hydrologic designs also. So this is about the presentation of the rainfall data. How do you present the point rainfall station? Point rainfall means, again I repeat, rainfall at a particular station by using the rain gauge. So we measure the rainfall by using rain gauges every time, okay. Either due to lockdown or due to something, the person does not record the value of rainfall by using the rain gauge instrument on that particular day, let us say. Then there will be the discontinuity in the record. Yes. Then there will be inconsistency also. Suppose the rain gauge station is shifted to new location, there is an inconsistency of recording the data. So to measure the inconsistency of records, there is a curve called a double mass curve. We use the concept of double mass curve to check the inconsistency of the data in the measurement. That is a double mass curve. So how do you draw this curve? Accumulated value of rainfall at unknown station. Accumulated value of rainfall at unknown station means the station where rainfall data is unknown, ungauged station. Value of rainfall at unknown station X, let us say. So we know all the surrounding stations will be there. So we know the rainfall accumulated at those surrounding stations. That surrounding stations are called base stations. Accumulated rainfall at 5 to 10 base stations. You select 5 to 10 base stations nearby the unknown station. Thereby you plot the double mass curve. So reverse chronological order plot the data. Reverse chronological order means 1970, 69, 68, 67, 66, 65 like that. Chronological order means 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70 like that. This is reverse chronological order. While doing survey, people do chronological survey. In water supply engineering, environmental engineering, you study the concept of chronological survey there. So this is reverse chronological order. Let us say in the year 1966, there was a discontinuity in the record. Means at that particular year, the data is unknown. So like this, you draw. So you check the rainfall at unknown station by using this curve. You apply slope correction, thereby you will get the answer. But the procedure is not important for exam. Just concept is important for examinations. What is the application of double mass curve? Where it is used? Double mass curve is used to check the inconsistency of the record. Where the station, unknown ungauged station, to measure the rainfall at unknown ungauged station. You correct the slope by using the slope correction. How do you correct it? So by using mathematical concepts, you measure the slope here and also actual slope. So thereby you get the precipitation at unknown station x is equal to precipitation at the base stations into corrected slope of this slope divided by this slope. Let us say this is C, this is A into C by A. This gives what is called precipitation at unknown station. So we determine the precipitation at unknown station by using this concept that is called double mass curve technique. Most important for IES objective examination. This point rainfall is also known as station rainfall that we have discussed. So to convert this point rainfall into aerial rainfall, to convert point rainfall data to aerial rainfall, we use depth area duration curve. We use depth area duration curve. Very important. Even in interviews, people typically click these points and ask particularly to stress the individual. Depth means rainfall depth. Area means catchment area. Duration means rainfall duration. Depth area duration curve. Point rainfall to aerial rainfall. Point rainfall is at a particular station only. Area rainfall means over the entire catchment area. So what is this curve? How do you draw this curve? Let us say. Let us say, for example, duration is constant. Duration is constant. Then how do you plot the depth area curve? So from the isoheights data, isoheight method of precipitation, we know these are isoheights and this is the area. First we plot the isoheights and later we calculate the area between two isoheights by using the planimeter. By multiplying the isoheight depth with the area, we get what is called volume of isoheights. Volume is equal to area into depth, area into average rainfall depth. Thereby you compute the total volume of the catchment. Catchment area multiplied by the average rainfall depth. 75 plus 90 by 2 into 60. That what gives volume. So like that calculate cumulative volume. Like that calculate the cumulative volume. What is cumulative volume? First volume 75 plus 90 by 2 into 60. Second volume 90 plus 100 by 2 into 275. Adding these two values is called cumulative volume. Like that add for the entire catchment. Thereby you will get the cumulative volume. Now what you do? Cumulative volume upon cumulative area. Also calculate cumulative area. How? 60 plus 275 plus 260 like that. So cumulative area volume upon cumulative area gives what is called average depth of rainfall. Average depth of rainfall. That is what we are doing in the isoheight method. Sigma PA upon sigma A. That is nothing but cumulative volume upon cumulative area only. So this is the average depth of rainfall. Now plot the cumulative area and the average depth of rainfall in the graph sheet. Take a graph sheet and plot these two values. Average depth, as the average depth of the basin continuously changes, taken on y-axis. Cumulative area taken on x-axis. The graph will look like this. Also it is true practically. For a constant duration, average depth of rainfall decreases with increase in area. Also it is true practically also. You have seen for large area, average depth of rainfall gradually decreases with increase with the duration constant. Let us say duration is not constant. Then for a given area, the depth of rainfall increases with increase in duration. See, this is for 2 hours. This is for 3 hours. This is for 4 hours. This is for 5 hours. For a given area, duration of the rainfall keep on increasing with increase in average depth. Okay. Once this was given as an objective question, depth area duration curve. How do you plot the curve? This is the procedure to plot the curve. This DAD curve has finds its applications in almost all hydrological calculations, in the design of dams, in the almost all the hydrological process of design. We consider this depth area duration curve very, very important. We consider all this data, all the rainfall data we do, and we calculate in Excel sheet also, spreadsheets. And also we write a program in MATLAB also. Okay, this is the procedure to convert the point rainfall to aerial rainfall. Why do you use this DAD curve? For a large area we want the amount of rainfall. Thereby we convert the point rainfall to aerial rainfall. Aerial rainfall means for a given area how the precipitation varies. Average depth of rainfall varies. That is nothing but aerial rainfall. Point rainfall for a given station or for a given point. For a given area, how the average depth varies with various in duration. So this is the concept of, what is the concept? DAD curve. Now we discuss the concept of frequency analysis. Frequency analysis in engineering hydrology. Frequency analysis in engineering hydrology. Many of the hydrological problems were first studied in Texas, Austin in USA, in America, not in India. Professor Vintichau did his various experiments there in the University of Illinois and also in Texas, by consulting various rivers and various water gauging stations. Thereby he measured, he calculated different experiments he had done during his study. And he developed the procedure for frequency analysis in hydrological designs. See, for a hydrological engineer, the most complicated issue is at the time of flood and at the time of drought only. Because flood is an extreme event. Extreme rainfall is nothing but flood. See, these kind of extreme events like floods will not occur very frequently. The period of occurrence of these extreme events is very, very rare. This is not very common. It is very, very rare. It is not moderate even. So, how much time the flood takes to occur? How many years it will take to occur? Like that, it is nothing but frequency. Frequency time interval you have studied simple harmonic motion in your physics. In the similar manner here, frequency also indicates time period. In how much time does the flood of so and so magnitude, so and so frequency will occur at a different particular location? The study of all these observations is nothing but frequency analysis. How frequently does an extreme event occur? Extreme event is nothing but either flood or drought, because these are the only major concerns in hydrology. So, to analyze this extreme events, we need rainfall data for at least 40 years. 40 years data we require to do the computations regarding this frequency analysis. 1950, the most maximum rainfall was Annual rainfall. Annual rainfall required. Let us say 1750 cubic meter per second. This is the maximum discharge occurred in 1950. 1960, 1850. Like that you require 40 years of data. 1990 up to. So let us say 2650 cumens. Like this there is a data. How frequently? Means I put one base. Like Q is equal to 1500 cumens. I have put one base 1500. What is the value of flood that is exceeding this 1500 and equaling 1500? You see in this data. In this data, you check if the discharge is more or equal to 1500. I put one base value 1500. Check the data for 40 years and see which year we are getting more or equal. Like that you will get 1950, 1960, all these years are exceeding. What is the gap? 10 years. Like that you means. Like that during these 40 years, how many years the flow is equaling or exceeding this 1500? You check in the given problem. In the given problem, what you have to do? You have to select one base value and check the discharge is equaling or exceeding for a given station. In these 40 years, how many years the flood of so and so magnitude 1500 equaled or exceeded 1500? So 40 divided by how many years the flood has equaled or exceeded? Let us say the equal or exceeded is 10 years. This is 4 years. This 4 years is nothing but recurrence interval. Average recurrence interval. This is recurring interval means for every 4 years the flood is occurring of magnitude equal or exceeding 1500. Okay, for every 4 years it is repeating, recurring. That is why it is called recurrence interval. See, in mathematics we study 3.3333. What we do? 3.33 bar. Here bar indicates recurring, means it is occurring every time, 333 like that. So, flood of magnitude something and frequency and 1500 cumens, it is more equally or exceeding at a given year. For every 4 years on an average, it is repeating. So, this is called recurrence interval concept. It is repeating every. The video lecture series on engineering hydrology. This is third lecture and this is the continuation of the previous one. In the previous class we have seen about the frequency analysis. So return period definition now we are giving. The return period of a given magnitude is defined as the average recurrence interval between the events equaling or exceeding a specified magnitude. So we are putting a base value 1500 equaling or exceeding the 1500. We are taking the value specified magnitude. The meaning is this. But recurrence interval is different and return period is different. Sometimes return period may be equal to recurrence interval. Because return period of a given magnitude is defined as the average recurrence interval. That is return period, not recurrence interval only. Both are may be equal, but every time may not be equal. So it is defined as the average recurrence interval between the events equaling or exceeding a specified magnitude. You have to understand this and explain this definition in the same manner. Return period of a given event is denoted by T. So average recurrence interval. So by using the applicable probability and statistics theory, we can say that probability of occurrence of a flood is nothing but 1 by return period, 1 by T. This is the probability. How this equation came? This equation came by using the principles of statistics and probability. So derivations are not necessary and the derivation of this expression is beyond the undergraduate syllabus. If you do post-graduation, then only you will understand the derivation. At this level, derivation is not required even for IES exam also. Just remember that this flood of magnitude and frequency occur very rarely. So floods will not occur very frequently. The probability of either occurrence of a flood or a drought is of major concern to any hydrologic person, but this probability of occurrence is very rare. Once in T years, the flood will occur. That is the definition of this probability. That is the physical meaning of this terminology. So very rarely, once in T years, there is a probability, there is a chance of the flood to occur. Once in T years, there is a chance of drought to occur. These are extreme events. They will not occur very frequently. They occur very rarely. So this is the definition of the return period. So return period of a given magnitude is defined as the average recurrence interval between the events equaling or exceeding the specified magnitude. But many textbooks give return period is equal to recurrence interval. Maybe sometimes it is true, but strictly speaking, we have to say that the return period is equal to the average recurrence interval only. So this is the probability. 1 by T. Very important. So many objective questions are based on this concept. So this distribution is based on the probability theory, binomial distribution. Binomial distribution. Already we have seen binomial distribution in probability. There is only two chances. Binomial means only two. Either probability of occurrence is P, probability of non-occurrence is Q. The probability that today the rain will occur, let us say, it is P. Probability rainfall will not occur today, 1 minus P, that is nothing but Q. P plus Q is equal to 1. The probability of occurrence of an event plus probability of non-occurrence of an event is equal to unity. This is based on the binomial distribution concept in probability. So P plus Q is equal to 1. Let us say these are the two events which are independent of each other. See, when you write an exam, the probability of success and probability of failure are independent to each other. One person may get success and another person may get failure in the same examination. So probability of success is P and probability of failure is Q. Q is nothing but 1 minus P. So probability of occurrence of a flood, let us say, probability of occurrence of a flood is nothing but probability of occurrence is P. Probability of non-occurrence of a flood is nothing but Q. Probability of non-occurrence of a flood is nothing but Q. But in questions, maximum questions in GATE exam or IAS exam, what they give? What is the probability that the flood will occur at least once in 10 years? At least once in 10 years. So to solve such type of questions, at least once in n years, let us say, probability of flood to occur at least once in n years. At least once in n years, let us say. How do you find the probability of occurrence of a flood? At least once in n years. So, you know the concept of contradictory events in mathematics. Contradictory means we go against the hypothesis. If hypothesis is 2 is even number, we will say 2 is not an even number and we will prove that 2 is even number again. That concept is called contradictory concept. Means we go against the concept and we prove that the concept is true. In the similar manner, let us say that flood will not occur. Flood will not occur in n years. Contradictory event to the above event. Let us say that the flood will not occur in n years. So what is the probability of non-occurrence of a flood? 1 minus P. Q is nothing but 1 minus P. We know here. 1 minus P. First year it will not occur 1 minus P. Second year it will not occur 1 minus P. Third year it will not occur 1 minus P. Like that 1 minus P, n times it will not occur. 1 minus P whole power n. The probability of non-occurrence of a flood. Flood will not occur in n years. That is nothing but 1 minus P whole power n. This is the probability of non-occurrence of a flood. Now, come. Probability of a flood to occur at least once, to occur at least once. At least once is nothing but 1 minus this event only. Probability will not occur in n years, 1 minus p whole power n. At least once means 1 minus p whole power n. So this is the probability of the flood to occur at least once during n years, 1 minus p whole power n. Just now we have proved that p is equal to 1 by t. So probability of the flood to occur at least once in n years, at least once in n years is equal to 1 minus 1 by t whole power n. At least once in n years. This is nothing but 1 minus t whole power n. Or you can write like this. 1 minus q power 1 minus q power n. Like this also you can write, because q is nothing but 1 minus p. So this is the concept of probability of occurrence of a flood and non-occurrence of a flood, how to segregate. This is based on the binomial distribution of theorem based on the probability, because we don't know. There is a chance, probability is nothing but chance. There is a chance of occurrence of a flood, p. No chance, 1 minus p. Binomial events, studied in probability and statistics. So that's why we have seen in the first class that engineering hydrology is an allied subject that introduces statistics also. So this is nothing but probability and statistics applications only. So this is the probability of occurrence of a flood at least once in n years. 1 minus q whole power n. Very, very important concept. And then a small note you write. Average is also known as expected value. You have studied in your probability theory only. Expected value. Recurrence interval is denoted by tau. Recurrence interval is denoted by tau. Recurrence interval is denoted by tau. Expected value of this recurrence interval is nothing but return period. Return period is t, which is equal to 1 by p. Expected value of the recurrence interval is nothing but return period t, which is equal to reciprocal of probability. What is the probability that flood will occur once in t years? That is p, probability of occurrence of a flood. Average is also known as expected value. Recurrence interval is denoted by tau. So expected value. How do you calculate the expected value? Mean expected value is equal to sigma x into f of x. This is the concept you do in statistics theory. Sigma x into fx. In the similar value, we calculate the expression and derive that p is equal to 1 by t. Anyway, the derivation is beyond the undergraduate level, as we have mentioned earlier. So this is the concept regarding the return period. So the probability of occurrence of a flood r times in n successive years is equal to NCR p power r q power 1 minus r. So the probability of occurrence of a flood r times in n years is equal to NCR p power r into q power 1 minus r. Q is nothing but 1 minus p, based on the binomial distribution concept. This single equation and another equation that we have discussed previously, they find numerous applications in hydrology. Many exams, there is no question paper without this question. The probability of occurrence of a flood all times in n years is equal to NCR P power R into Q power 1 minus R. Also, this return period finds its applications in your practical hydrologic designs also. The 30 years, 40 years data will be there and you have to calculate return period of a flood by using the hydrological parameters, and you need to estimate different parameters also. Anyway, that is beyond the scope of the undergraduate level. If you do post-graduation, then you will realize the importance of this. In any subject of civil engineering, of course. You will not be able to appreciate at the BTech level. At your postgraduate level, you may be appreciate to know about such details and concepts in a better manner. Next thing is intensity, duration, frequency curve. This is popularly known as IDF curve. Intensity, duration, frequency curve. IDF curve. This is popularly called as IDF curves. So let us say intensity of rainfall, duration of rainfall, frequency is nothing but return period. This is the intensity. Take on y-axis. Duration. With the time period, intensity of rainfall decreases. At first rainfall is more, heavy rain, with heavy intensity rain will occur. You observe the rainfall at any time. Rain occurs with heavy intensity during the initial period. And gradually as the time progresses, the intensity of rainfall gradually what it happens? It reduces. Like this. With increase in duration, the intensity of rainfall decreases. This duration is nothing but return period T. T is equal to, let us say, 10 years here, 20 years here, 30 years. For a given duration, the return period increases with increase in intensity of rainfall. Similar to DAD curve. So this is about the IDF curve. Or how do you develop this curve for a given basin? And how do you fit the distributions? All these are beyond the scope of undergraduate level, as I said. Just remember the concept, that's all. As the time progresses, intensity of rainfall reduces. That's it. This is about the intensity, duration curve, frequency curve, popularly called IDF curve. Let us solve some numerical questions based on this concept. A one-day rainfall. These are very important questions. A one-day rainfall. A one-day rainfall of 15 centimeter. Of 15 centimeter at a place X. At a place X was found to have a return period of 100 years. 100 years. Calculate the probability that one day rainfall of this magnitude will not occur at X years. Will not occur at X during next 50 years. This is part A of the question. Calculate the probability that one day rainfall of this magnitude 15 centimeter will not occur at X during next 15 years. This 15 centimeter refers magnitude of the rainfall. Calculate the probability that it will not occur in next year. Rainfall will not occur in next year. It will not occur at X during next 50 years he is asking. And secondly he is asking probability it will not occur in immediate next year, within 1 year. So what we know from the above discussion, the probability is nothing but reciprocal of return period 1 by T. So once in 100 years, 1 by 100, that is nothing but 0.01. 0.01. Calculate the probability that 1 day rainfall will not occur, 1 minus Q. 1 minus Q. Will not occur means 1 minus Q. 1 minus P, that is not Q, 1 minus P. Q is equal to 1 minus P. During the next 50 years, so 1 minus P whole power 50. 1 minus 0.01 power 50. How much? Then getting the answer as 60.5%. So this is the solution. Part B of the question. The probability will not occur immediately next year. So Q power 1 minus 0.01. It will not occur in the immediate next year. 1 minus Q. Okay. 1 minus Q. It will not occur in the next year only. It will not occur 1 minus P whole power 1, not 1 minus Q. It will not occur in the next year. It will not occur in 50 years. 1 minus P whole power n. 1 minus 0.01. Solve yourself. So this is the question. Probability it will not occur in the next 50 years. It will not occur immediately in the immediate next year means 1 year only. Next year, 1 year you should take. So this is for understanding the concept. We gave the question. This is not 1 minus Q. Probability means 1 minus Q. But it will not occur means Q1. The probability to occur means P. Will not occur means Q, 1 minus P. So this is also the important question. GATE model, IAS model. You can expect for your competitive examinations. Any other good questions? I have no good collection right now. Let us give the good questions. I give the one question bank on hydrology also, like soil mechanics. So let us solve the questions. By solving more number of questions, we will get the idea regarding the subject also. Sometimes concepts are required, sometimes questions are required to understand the concepts in a better manner. Thank you one and all for watching.